Welcome back. You are watching the forgotten water towers in Kenya, namely Cherengani Hills and Mount Elgon Forest. We are looking at their importance, the threats to those water towers, and the conservation measures in place.
Sisi watu wa mazingira wametufundisha kwamba tupande miti kando kando ya mtoni na tusilime mpaka kwa mtoni yenyewe ili tuhifadhi mtoni, ili tusilete mmonyonyoko wa udongo. Hii river tunatoa hapa samaki, tunaweza oga hii maji. Wakati mwingine hata kama maji imeisha kwa mitoni zingine, kwa visima, kwa freji imepotea, tunaweza kunywa hii maji, tunachemusha, tunafilter, inakuwa sawa kwa kunywa. Mang'ombe pia inatumia hii maji kwa kunywa. Na irrigation pia, watu ambao karibu na mtoni wanaweza nyunyuzia maji hiyo mimea yao.
Probably those living far away from Mount Elgon and Cherengani water towers may be asking, why should we care about the water towers?
This partnership works well with the EU. We can now extend this to the rest of the country. Now, why does it matter? Because all ecosystems are connected. What happens negatively here in Uasin Gishu, in Elgeyo Marakwet, in West Pokot, definitely has a trickle-down effect to the people at the coast. So all ecosystems must be protected for the benefit of all Kenyans.
You can imagine the potential that there is for energy, the mini hydros in these particular water towers, and the potential there is to build economies and businesses, industries that can earn and use this power that is generated around these areas.
And it is not just all about the role of the government and the development community. Industries in the ecosystem have a role to play too. For example, along River Nzoia, key factories that are crucial to the management and conservation of the ecosystem are pan paper mills in Webuye, Bungoma County, which at the moment is moribund amid plans to revive it. There is also Nzoia Sugar Factory, still in Bungoma County, and Mumias Sugar Factory in Kakamega County.
The industries and the potential there is very big, but now the effluent, it has to be managed. Some of the issues that this project is going to bring out at the end of it all, waste management issues, because this is a very serious issue causing a lot of sicknesses, cancer, and so many other activities. The forest cover, which is commensurate to amount of water that we can get in our region.
Some of the rivers emanating from the Cherengani water tower, like River Sosiani in Eldoret, get polluted due to their proximity to urban areas.
There is a kind of pollution which happens as it flows downstream, because the upstream is mainly farming and livestock, and then a bit of maybe commercial crops which may once in a while require fertilizer and pesticides. But as it moves, there are a lot of settlements which are also coming up along the river. If you take the river as a landscape, before it passes through Eldoret town and moves on to Trans Nzoia downstream. Hyacinth is a plant, and scientifically it thrives more where the nutrition level is high. For example, if you put a lot of inorganic fertilizer into the soil, so for example, phosphorus particularly, and then calcium and nitrogen, then the plant finds a way, because there's a lot of food for it, so it germinates a lot.
Stakeholders emphasize that regarding agricultural practices, farmers ought to keep in mind that farming methods that result in soil erosion are harmful to the ecosystem.
In terms of farming systems, we need to incorporate agricultural production with tree farming. This is what is referred to as agroforestry. So when siltation rises, when farming upstream is not properly controlled by terracing, by planting trees, then the water bursts over, because a lot of water flows without control. And then it bursts, and then Budalangi starts, Nzoia river overflows into the farms, like what is happening in Budalangi.
The program that has been launched will be coordinated by the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources with the Kenya Forest Service, Kenya Water Towers Agency, Kenya Wildlife Service, Kenya Forestry Research Institute, and the National Climate Change Secretariat, as well as the 11 counties as the implementing agencies.
The catchment of maybe Busia, for example, or Nandi, or Elgeyo Marakwet, or others, they are actually, the catchment is actually Mount Elgon and Cherangani. The water sources of these counties actually emanate from the two major water towers.
And our role basically here is to bring forest conservation efforts to those areas. We are not confining ourselves only to the protected areas, but we would also want to promote the tree planting culture in people's farms. And that is how this program has been designed, so that we reduce pressure on the gazetted areas.
We are going also to address all the other water towers in due course. But again, depending on the development partners, what we agreed to do, this was a very good starting point. And we have been able to bring a lot of partners together, national institutions, the county system, and also the private sector.
We are going to deal with physical characterization of the water towers, as well as the socioeconomic conditions of those particular water towers, to generate interventions for the communities, as well as for the government agencies that are going to implement, including the county governments.
And just what is the global connection with Kenya's efforts to conserve its water towers?
We have signed up on various agreements. For example, the most recent one, which is the Paris Agreement, saying that we're going to mitigate and adapt to climate change. So this is one of our commitments. Of course, we're not a large emitter, we're one of the smaller emitters, but adaptation to climate change is real. This is what we've committed to do, this is what we have promised Kenyans, and we are already delivering.
In a summary, mitigation against climate change and poverty eradication are the key results to look out for in the renewed efforts to conserve Cherangani and Mount Elgon, two of the 5 main water towers in Kenya that have not received much attention as compared to Mount Kenya, Aberdare, and Mau Complex.
With climate change, what we see is that we have increased cycles of flooding, then we also have increased cycles of drought. When we plant trees, we can counter the erratic effects of weather. So in other words, we can count on having more predictable rainfall and also controlling the weather patterns. When we rehabilitate the riparian areas, we also control flooding in the rivers. But also when we plant species, such as the various species of bamboo, we also find that the water becomes cleaner.
The education bit of it, which our children need to learn and carry this culture into a future that they can deal with the environment in a very potential way.
I've learned a lot. We have been given books, the pamphlets, the forestry, the water towers has been able to be launched at our school, and the day has just been great.
We want to encourage people to plant trees to avoid deforestation, because we do believe that by caring for the environment, we are nurturing our future. We want a brighter Kenya where each and every person is safer to live, because we do believe that in this world, we were meant to create a change.
On that note, we come to the end of the show. We looked at 2 key forgotten water catchment areas in Kenya, that is Cherangani Hills and Mount Elgon Forest. We looked at their importance, the threats and conservation measures in place. Remember, you can find this program on our online edition. And on behalf of the crew, thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Alex Chamwada. Bye-bye for now.